this incredible run, this heater that the Milwaukee Brewers are on this entire summer. Can't quite figure it out. We'll try to get some answers to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, everybody. Chuck Freimund, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, proud host of my favorite sports team, the Milwaukee Brewers. Like you, the Brewers, I'm sure, one of your favorite teams, unless you're a Cubs fans coming over here and checking us out and realizing your team is 6 games out and you want to join the team to the north of you. Welcome aboard. Hey, everybody. What a weekend this was for the Milwaukee Brewers. A walk-off throw out at the plate, a walk-off hit today, a 3-game sweep of the Mets, another long winning streak for this team. How are they doing it? We'll get to that next. We had terrible flooding in the state of Wisconsin today, and this game almost didn't get played because roads were shut down everywhere. But the Brewers gave us a little bit of happiness on just a busy day in Milwaukee on a Sunday. Murph said it was the best environment he had ever seen. The Pirates in town for a first of 3 on Monday night. We'll get to that coming up next. The Brewers did a little flip-flop with their pitching rotation here in the next couple of days. So all that more coming up. The Mets hit 7 home runs in this series, and they had the lead in all three games. They had a 5-0 lead. They had a 5-0 lead on Sunday, and I put out on Twitter, well, hey, even great teams, and the Milwaukee Brewers are a great team, even great teams have a clunker once in a while, and the Brewers had their clunker through the first couple of innings, right? It looked like it was going nowhere. The Sunday lineup was out there, and I heard from you guys out there saying, well, with this lineup they have out there, they're not coming back from a 5-0 deficit. They sat Frelick. They sat Terang. They sat Yelich against the left-hander out there. They sat those 3. Okay. Still, the Brewers battled their way back and got the victory. How are they doing this? Well, they're great with 2 strikes. The Brewers are so good with 2 strikes. They have a bunch of guys who have a master's degree in the strike zone, a master's degree. They have such keen eyes at the plate. And the guy who hit the walk-off home run today, Isaac Collins, probably has the best one. There was an article written in the Milwaukee Journal by Kurt Hogue who had talked about Collins, his mastery of the strike zone, what pitches he knows to swing at, what pitches he doesn't know to swing at. And I feel a lot of guys in this team, they go to the plate, and they'll just waste pitches and waste pitches and waste pitches. The pitch count will be running up on that opposing pitcher. And sometimes those pitchers just give in. They give in, and the Brewers win that battle. I feel like the Brewers win most battles at the plate when it gets like that, when it gets into a high pitch count, 9, 10, 11 pitches. The Brewers are the batter at the plate for the Milwaukee Brewers is winning those battles with the pitcher. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be anybody, Helsley, anybody. I mean, the Brewers took down a couple of guys who were considered some of the best relievers in baseball. They got Ryan Helsley twice. They got Diaz once. And 3 come from behind wins. But I think number 1 is, in addition to these guys just being a bunch of gamers and a bunch of fighters and guys who refuse to lose, the guys who got that winning DNA, a bunch of guys, the power of friendship, all that. Baseball-wise, these guys just are so selective at the plate, and they're so good at the plate. And you rarely see a lot of these guys swing at bad pitches. How often do you see a player get into an 0-2 count, and before you know it, that count 7 pitches later is 3-2. Might foul a couple of pitches off, ball, foul a couple pitches off, ball, 2-2, 3-2, and he might walk. The Brewers are so good in that. Walk is as good as a base hit, in my opinion. I'll take a walk every time. And that's what the Brewers do. Their pitching staff is excellent, obviously. we've talked about the pitching staff. The starting rotation, guys go down. Henderson goes to the injured list. He comes up for Mizorowski because Mizorowski went on the injured list. Henderson makes a start. Now he's on the injured list. It doesn't appear serious with Henderson, just inflammation. Nothing torn in his elbow. But the next guy steps up with the Brewers, and I joke about this, but it's almost true. You could dress up a guy in a mannequin. You could dress up a mannequin in a Brewer uniform, and somehow you'll get 2 hits out of the guy. He'll steal a base, sacrifice a runner over a second, and do all sorts of things, and maybe make a play defensively as well. So I think all these guys are gamers. They're great with 2 strikes. Defensively, they don't give up anything defensively. We saw Perkins with the outfield assist on Friday night. I feel like the Brewers just gun guys that you can't take the extra base on them. And the Brewers, for the most part, play mistake-free. Now, they get picked off base once in a while and all that. But the Brewers, when it comes down to making mistakes, what the Mets, like Mauricio made that error on Saturday night at third base, which allowed the tying run to score with, I believe, Collins at the plate. He had 2 strikes on him, too. And you give the Brewers a little bit of a hope like that, and another run comes in. And then Contreras belts a home run, and Contreras is heating up as of late. I mean, Contreras is muscling up. He had a great weekend, just amazing weekend. So, yeah, they don't hit a lot of home runs, but they play smart baseball. They outsmart the competition. You make a mistake against them, and they just peck away at you. You just can't make any mistakes. You cannot give the Brewers an inch. They master the strike zone, and they just tire you out. And you know what? Other teams, other fan bases around baseball are looking at the Brewers, and they're completely flustered. Why is this team winning? And you know what? The Brewers are going to set a pattern for this too. Other teams, other organizations are going to look at the Milwaukee Brewers. You think the general manager, the LA Dodgers, is going to hear from his owner on Monday and say, "Hey, I'm spending all this money. I'm spending $1 billion on Shohei. I'm spending millions of dollars on Freddie Freeman. I got all Mookie Betts, and I see this team up there in northern Wisconsin, northern United States, southern Wisconsin, the northern parts. And how are they winning games? How are they winning games with guys under team control who are making minimum wage baseball by baseball standards? How are they doing it? I'm going out there and spending all my money on this team, and yet I'm looking up and I see this Milwaukee Brewers team, a bunch of guys who are 5'8". What are they doing differently? Why are they winning games? They got a manager there that nobody's ever heard of. The general manager, barely anybody's heard of Matt Arnold. Okay, he was the assistant to Stearns, who went to New York, a big-time job. And Arnold is getting things done. Council goes to Chicago. Craig, how is this team how is this Milwaukee team? How are they 6 games ahead of us, Craig? Council was asked the other day, "Oh, you see what the Milwaukee Brewers are doing?" This was like last week. Well, the Brewers had just finished off Atlanta. Do you see what the Brewers are doing? Yeah, I don't know. I kind of check it. Darn right he checks it, because the Brewers are a stiff competition. Craig trying to pull off like, oh, he's not really paying attention to the Milwaukee Brewers. No, he's paying attention to his own team, but he knows darn well what's going on with Milwaukee. All you got to do is grab the standings every morning and look up, and you're 6 games behind the Brewers, right? Big market Chicago, 73-44, 6-game lead over the lifeless Cubs. I love just tagging the Cubs, and just like they got down 3-2 on Sunday Night Baseball. They weren't going to come back and win this game. The Cubs have no fight or no life. With the Brewers under Pat Murphy, hey, no deficit is safe. They'll come back from everything. But I noticed a pattern between Council with the Brewers and Council with the Cubs. You get down early. I mean, let's face it. Those Counsell years, they get down, they throw their hands up, and you hear Counsell at the post-game press conference, well, it was another quiet night offensively for us. Not much happening. You ever hear Murphy say that? No, because these guys are fighters. Under Counsell, how many times did they come back and rally and win games? And Isaac Collins, by the way, rookie of the year. Big moments. Don't just look at stats. Look at big moments. Another big moment today. Big moment last night. Last 20 games, he's hitting 387, if you want to go to the numbers. He's had 10 multi-hit games in his last 20 games. Unbelievable. Yeah, the Mets come in here. Soto, like he comes in like he owns the ballpark, nonchalant. His $1 billion contract, nonchalant, or $500 million, whatever it is. Yeah, he had a home run or two, but still, when the Cards are down, who is it? Isaac Collins. A guy like Isaac Collins is nickel and diming you. Terang, Frelick, right down the road. All these guys. Like I said the other day, it makes a bad case for the salary cap, but I don't care at this point. This is the best time in Brewers baseball. I know there was 1982. I know they went to the World Series, and I get it that this team hasn't won a playoff game yet, and I shouldn't have to qualify it, but this is the best time right now in Brewers baseball. We've never seen a time like this. 8 of the last 9 games have been sellouts. And today's game was a sellout. Sunday's game was a sellout. But clutch hit after clutch hit, big moment after big moment, walk-off wins all over the place. And that's why the Brewers have a 6-game lead. 29 games over the 500 mark and earned every one of those 29 over the 500 mark. 73-44, on pace for 101 wins. Man, I know I did the math wrong the other day. I said the Brewers were on pace to eclipse Seattle's record. And somebody pointed out, well, they had to go 46-2. Well, you know what? They still might. So I guess I was wrong in the theory, but not wrong in the possibility. Because the possibility is, man, are they going to lose 2 more games? Are they ever going to lose? Losing is not in their DNA. Mets Twitter was going absolutely berserk. Perkins, what a throw on Friday night. Gunning the runner out. Hey, when that was blooped to center field, was there any doubt Perkins? And even if the Mets had tied it, Brewers are going to win that game in the bottom of the 9th inning anyway. That is how good this team is. No, this team isn't just good. This team is great. 29 games above 500. Got a 5-6 game lead on everybody else in Major League Baseball. You're a great team. Great team. Togetherness, power of friendship, and everything that goes with it. All right. This it was kind of a downer weekend in Milwaukee because of the flooding in the state of Wisconsin. There was massive flooding. There was some thoughts that maybe the game would not be played today because of that. But the Brewers give fans a lift. Still had a great crowd out there today. We'll talk about it next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers brought to you by Game Day Hue. Game Day Hue, hats, batting gloves, golf gloves for the Milwaukee Brewers. Fans like me, this one hits the mark. Game Day Hue makes clean, no logo wear, but they make like golf clubs and hats of the Brewers color, other colors, or the Packers colors, or the Bucks colors, or whatever. Team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. It's about letting the colors speak with you. When you see those colors on the hat, people know you're a Brewers fan. No giant logos, just smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the course, and anywhere in between. Right now, check it out. Go to GameDayHue.com. Get 15% off with the promo code LOCKEDON, with the promo code MLB15. It's GameDayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals, so now's the time to load up. Let your colors do the talking because colors speak louder. The words, GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. I'm Chuck Freimund. Hey, good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. Our podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. We are your team every day. All you everydayers out there, we're here talking Brewers baseball with you on a daily basis. Get us on all the audio platforms on there. And of course, our growing YouTube page. If you're listening to us on audio already, check us out on our growing YouTube page. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell that alerts you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. One thing I want to mention, I didn't give any credit to for this victory on Sunday. DL Hall in the bullpen. DL Hall came out just like he did last week, and in middle relief, Priester did not have a very good day, although the Brewers have not lost a game that Priester has pitched since May 24th, and that streak kept on going. But with DL Hall, he comes in there in middle relief, and a guy who's going to be he's going to be an eventual starter. If things work out, that guy is going to be starting with the Milwaukee Brewers someday, you think. But he went out there in middle relief and went 3 2/3 on 56 pitches, long relief. He's done a lot of that this year, 4 Ks, and pitched scoreless baseball over 3 2/3. It was a 5-0 lead when he came in, and he kept that game tight. He kept that game tight after Priester had given up 6 runs. Priester left. Actually, Priester left when it was 6-3. Priester left when it was 6-3, and DL Hall came in and went scoreless. Mears pitched a scoreless 9th. So Hall and Mears, that Brewer bullpen, when you had guys like McGill who were unavailable, and Uribe was unavailable, you had guys down in that bullpen who weren't going to pitch today, and these guys stepped out. Mears closed out the game. I should say Mears, well, he got the win, actually, because he came on in the top of the 9th inning and got the win. And then the Brewers won it in the bottom of the 9th inning. So Mears got the win on 18 pitches. But that bullpen was just fantastic. Murphy said, best environment in 10 years. Now, around Milwaukee, for those of you living outside of the state of Wisconsin, we had torrential downpours yesterday. And in some cases in the Milwaukee area, you got 10 to 14 inches of rain. And there were only 1 to 2 entrances open for Miller Park today, for AmFam Field. And there were State Fair Park, which is right down the road, mile or so down the road, had its last day of the State Fair, and they canceled it. There was no State Fair on Sunday. And then there was some thought, geez, if they're closing the State Fair, are the Brewers going to play today? Because it was a mess overnight. Saturday night into Sunday morning, a mess overnight. Roadways were closed. The Brewers were sending out emails and messages, and I'm putting stuff on social media on what lots were closed and what roads were closed, and don't take this way and go this way. And there were a lot of closed passageways to get to AmFam Field. And the Brewers also said, if you can't make it to the game today, no problem. We got you. We will redeem that ticket for a future game in 2025. Really cool on the Milwaukee Brewers part. But they got the game in, and 43,000 tickets were sold for the game. Another sellout. 33,000 showed up. Wow. Honest to God, I thought maybe with how bad it was in the Milwaukee area, I thought they'd get 10 to 15,000. Maybe 10 to 15,000. Underestimated the power of Brewers fans. And this is how fans are here in the state of Wisconsin. When they're all in, they're all in. Brewers get home from a 6-0 road trip. That place has got 43,000 on Friday night. They come back with 43,000 on Saturday night. 33,000 on Sunday on a just a disastrous day in Milwaukee of cleanup. Many people have flooded basements. So people were working maybe all night trying to get their car that was submerged out of the water, cleaning up their basements. Yet 33,000 made it to AmFam Field. That is just fantastic. And I'm glad the Brewers rewarded you with an electric win. All you guys and all the safety people out there, the policemen and the fire departments and all that, and everybody who contributed to the day on Sunday, all the cleanup to allow people to get to that ballpark. 33,000. Yeah, going to the Brewer game was probably the last thing on anybody's mind when you wake up and you have a flooded basement. I get it. But I guarantee you there are people who went to that game to support this team who at home, it was a mess, but some of you guys still made it to the ballpark. And I heard from some of you guys through DMs. And that just tells me, hey, more and more, the Brewers organization owes this to you. This season is for the fans. All this great come from behind wins and these exciting games and all that we're watching every night. It's because of Sunday, where you come out in 33,000, go out and pack the ballpark. I did not make it down. I live in Elmira. I live a little north of Milwaukee. We decided it was just going to be just a mess down there. So we did not go to the game. We did not go to our game. I gave my tickets to somebody else who ended up going. So, but 33K show up. And I just was floored at that. Teams never won a World Series title, never won a championship. But we got the best record in baseball right now. And on just a horrific day, plus you had to walk through the torrential rain just to get to the ballpark today, whether you took shuttles or whatever. If there were any shuttles even running today to get anywhere, you had to go down streets you probably never knew existed in Milwaukee just to get to the ballpark. Man, that tells you something right there. Murphy called it the best environment he has seen in 10 years. Boy, when things are going well with the Milwaukee Brewers, I love the way we just get behind our sports teams. And the Milwaukee Brewers have, it was great on their part to honor the tickets of people who couldn't go. And hopefully you guys all got that message if you had tickets for the game and you couldn't make it out, and you're able to exchange those tickets for a future date here in 2025. Joey Ortiz asked after the game today, how do you guys do it? He said 3 words: the power of friendship. You don't see a lot of that in professional sports. You see it in the college game, see it in high school teams, the power of friendship. Pat Murphy bringing the college atmosphere to a professional sports team like the Milwaukee Brewers, the power of friendship. And when you hear stuff like that, you want to root for these guys even more. All right. Series coming up, the Pirates coming up next for the Brewers, through with the Pirates. Can't take them lightly. You know that. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Football season is just around a quarter, regular season. FanDuel Futures, August 26th. It's FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours on August 26th, FanDuel giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, a long shot division winner, ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Take a flyer in the MVP race. Maybe like Jordan Love in the MVP race. Crown your champion in August. Maybe, well, you shouldn't like the Chicago Bears. Maybe you want the Packers to win it. Maybe you think they're going to win it. Or your dark horse division winner. Everybody thinks the Lions are going to win it. Maybe take the Packers. Get great ads on August 26th. FanDuel, visit the app today. FanDuel app, start planning your future bets right now, because Futures Day, August 26th, is one day and one day only. That's FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. All right, down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us late Sunday night, early Monday morning. I always try to drop this late Sunday night, a little bit later on at night, Sunday night at 11 o'clock. You're kind of getting ready for bed or whatever, or you're working your third shift job. You're ready to go in at midnight or 11 o'clock. Try to get this in there for you, or something to watch in your job, maybe. The Brewers announced shortly after the game that Monday starter will not be Freddie Peralta, but not because of injury or anything. Him and Quintana just flip-flop. So Quintana will pitch on Monday against Andrew Haney, who's got a 5-9 record, a 4.71 earned run average. He's a left-handed pitcher. So we'll see if the Brewers sit the lefties again. I don't think so, but Peralta's going to go on Tuesday against Paul Skeens. And you know how tough Paul Skeens is, even though the Brewers have got him already this year. So that's the way it looks for the first 2 games of the series. Now you look at the Pirates. Pirates got the third worst team in the National League, 51-68. Had a tough their pitching staff really got battered on Saturday night. Cincinnati put up 14 runs on them. But as you know, there's a couple of guys in that Pirates team who are gamers. Brian Reynolds always hits about 800 against the Milwaukee Brewers. And I went to somebody in the Pirates media last time the Pirates were in town. I said, boy, I wish Brian Reynolds played the Brewers. And he said, you could have him. You could have him. I said, man, the guy's an MVP when he plays against the Brewers, because he does. He tears up Milwaukee. But Brewers have the better team. Got to still go out there. And like I used to say before, hey, I'll take 2 or 3 from these guys. The Brewers are such a good team. They now sweeping is the new bar with these guys. Sweeping is the new bar. That's where the bar is. It used to be 2 or 3, and that's usually the general rule of thumb in baseball. Now you got to win 2 or 3. But the Brewers are so good. Sweeping a series is definitely, the bar is set high with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's because they've set the bar high. The Brewers losing is not an option with these guys in the power of friendship, the Milwaukee Brewers. Hey, everybody, thanks again for tuning us in. And some of you hit me up on Twitter as well. Continue to do that. Find me on Twitter at Chuck Freimund, Freimund. If you DM me, I'll always get back to you. Might not be right away, but I promise you I will get back to you, as a lot of you have found out. A couple of you guys wanted to meet up with me by my seats at the game on Sunday. Sorry I didn't go. Like I said, we because of the weather and all that, we just didn't make it down. But I will. If you ever want to meet up with me at a game and take a selfie or whatever, you see me walking around the ballpark, by all means, please stop and say hello, please. One guy said, "Oh, I saw you and I didn't want to say it." Bob, no, you never bothered me. You are never bothering me. We are a Brewers community. I've been covering the Brewers all my life. And man, I wouldn't have a job covering the Milwaukee Brewers if you guys didn't support this team. So that's the way I look at it. And man, you guys are great. DM me with your questions. Hit me up on Facebook if you want, Chuck Freimund. But man, it was a great weekend. 3 thrilling games against the New York Mets, who've lost like 12 of their last 13. That's their problem. Our problem, the Pittsburgh Pirates on Monday night, keeping this thing going. And for a 3rd time this year, we're talking about those George Webb burgers again, moving a little close. So we'll see if they can hit 10 in a row coming up on Monday night. 2 night games, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, an afternoon game. Next weekend, they're on the road at Cincinnati. And then it's next week, that 5-game series against the Cubs. We'll worry about that when we get to it. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freimund, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Have yourself a great Monday, everybody.